Welcome to the show, everybody. MAGA governors are secretly scared of their own voters. Now, you would think that red state governors, especially the ones in the MAGA mold, would really be riding high right now. This would be their heyday because Trump's back in the White House. The Republican Party controls the House and the Senate. The right-wing media machine is humming right along, probably as powerfully as it ever has. But behind the scenes, you've got a lot of these red state governors sweating, not because of Democrats, most of them barely have a functioning state party to deal with, but because they're terrified of their own voters. There is a sort of growing disconnect between Republican governors and the most hardcore reactionary base. And what we're seeing March, April 2025 is a very nervous and quiet retreat, but it's there if you look for it. And I want to talk about that today because there are these governors who have spent years stoking the culture wars and doing all of the stuff that Trump's been doing that are now vetoing certain bills, ducking MAGA primaries, hedging bets. And all of it is to avoid triggering into anger the very monster that they helped create. They helped build the monster, and now they've lost control of it. Let me give you some examples of what I mean. We start in North Dakota. North Dakota's governor, Kelly Armstrong, just vetoed two right-wing favorites: a bill that would have expanded restrictions on sexual content in libraries, translation, banning LGBT books, and a school voucher bill aimed at funneling money out of public education. Now, did Armstrong suddenly have a change of heart or grow a spine or develop a new respect for public schooling and the First Amendment? No, of course not. These were not vetoes out of principle. These were vetoes out of fear. Armstrong knows the public school crowd in North Dakota is strong. And even many conservative parents do not want their kids' library shelves gutted. And so Armstrong is afraid of a voter revolt, and he should be, because this was all damage control dressed up as moderation. That's Armstrong. Okay, now we go to Texas. Greg Abbott in Texas just launched something called the Texas Regulatory Efficiency Office, modeled after Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. Here's what's really going on. Abbott is desperate to throw red meat to the anti-government crowd, cut red tape, slash services, deregulate everything we can. But Abbott is also terrified that when it blows up in his face, he's going to get blamed. Because guess what? Even in Texas, there are still people who want their roads paved and their nursing homes inspected. And so Abbott finds himself walking this very interesting tightrope where he's pandering to the far right, but hoping that the rest of the state, doesn't notice when the lights go out, either metaphorically or, as they have numerous times in recent years, literally. So that's Texas. Then we go to Arizona. In Arizona, we see maybe the clearest sign yet that Republican leaders are paralyzed by their own base. The Club for Growth just jumped into the 2026 governor's race, backing Andy Biggs. Andy Biggs is an election denier and a full MAGA warrior, over Karen Taylor Robson, even though both of them are Trump aligned. But understand what's going on here. The reason for the switch for the Club for Growth is that Biggs is more MAGA than Robson. MAGA donors are afraid that Robson might end up slightly off script. And this is not a party with room for nuance anymore. It's a loyalty death match. Who is the most loyal to Trump? And the fear is if you pick the wrong Trumpist, you're toast. So they are ducking and they are weaving and they are trying not to get bit by the very base that they've spent years radicalizing. That's the new right-wing calculus. Don't get primaried. Don't spark protests. And whatever you do, never look weak. But there's a problem here. When your voters are conditioned to expect extremism, anything less looks like betrayal, and the governors know it. That's why you're seeing vetoes on culture war bills. You're seeing these weird techno-libertarian gimmicks. You're seeing intra-party showdowns. They are scared because they lost control. MAGA voters don't want governance. They want vengeance. And now that Trump is back in power, they want results. So this is where we're headed. Number one, expect more vetoes of some bills if they are engineered with bad optics. None of this is about actual morality as applied to policy and governance. It's optics and what are the voters, what is the most powerful enclave of Republican voters going to think? So expect more vetoes from governors when they are saying, this looks like trouble for me. Secondly, expect primary challenges from further right nobodies who maybe have a podcast or maybe put out excretions on X or, minimally known extremist right-wingers challenging slightly less extreme right-wingers. And then number three, expect quiet concessions when we see the public backlash, all delivered kind of with a wink to the base and a lot of fear behind closed doors that the monster Republicans helped build the Frankenstein monster. Frankenstein was the builder of anyway. Now they are stuck trying to survive the very monster that they built. And the problem is that if they too loudly go off script or too noticeably go off script, there's one very orange man in Washington, D.C. who's going to notice and who may turn on them. And that's also a risk. So this is going to get very dicey. But the governors seem to know that this is a very fine line. There's no gray area here. You're either with us or against us. And that's the way it's increasingly been for a decade now. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what The Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get The Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.